All right, friends, today's episode is going to be fun. Not just because we're spilling some salon tea, but because I've got a special guest with me. Hailey is in the house. And we decided to switch things up for this one. Neither of us knows what the other person is going to say. We each made our own list of what stylists wish salon owners knew and what salon owners wish stylists understood. No prep, no peeking, so you're getting our raw, unfiltered reactions in real time. And here's what I want to say up front. These points I'm sharing today aren't directed at Hailey. This isn't a confrontation. These are things I've experienced over the 7 years as a salon owner, things I've navigated with different stylists, things I've seen on social media, heard in salon owner circles, and watched play out in the industry over and over again. This conversation is bigger than just our salon. It's about bridging the gap between stylists and owners across the board. And we're doing it with honesty, realness, and a whole lot of heart. So whether you're behind the chair, behind the scenes, or somewhere in between, pull up a seat and let's get into it. Hi, I'm Jessica, and this is With My Whole Heart. I'm a salon owner and educator, but more than that, I'm someone who's been in it, building dreams, raising babies, and figuring it out in real time. This is a space for the real stuff, the messy middles, the big leaps, and the pivots you didn't see coming. We'll talk business, beauty, faith, and everything in between. So grab your coffee or your tea, get cozy, and let's dive in. Because this journey, we're walking it together with our whole hearts. Okay, before we get into the juicy stuff, I want to take a second for you all to get to know Hailey a little better. I obviously know how talented and hilarious she is, but Hailey, can you share a little bit about yourself for those tuning in who may not know you yet? So I have a couple questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. How long have you been in the industry now?
I have been a licensed cosmetologist since 2019 after graduating from Nova Academy of Cosmetology in Rochester.
That is amazing. What made you want to become a hairstylist?
Funny enough, it was actually my mom who signed me up for beauty school after I dropped out of college after just one semester. She was a hairstylist herself and always saw something in me. Turns out she knew what she was doing when she signed me up.
I love that. That is the cutest. What kind of work lights you up the most behind the chair?
What truly lights me up in the industry is the real meaningful connections I get to build behind the chair. If you've ever sat in my chair before, you know it's so much more than just hair. It's about vibing, connecting, and creating an experience that leaves you feeling confident and seen.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, but I want to know what services light you up. What is your favorite thing to do?
Currently, it's hair extensions. The whole transformation, just having my guest come in, not loving their hair, and then seeing how much they light up when they do leave my chair.
It's like the best thing ever. All right. What has your experience been like working in a commission-based salon? Because I think that's the only type of salon you've worked in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So over the past 6 years, I've been fortunate to work in just 2 commission-based salons. And what's always mattered most to me is surrounding myself with strong, driven women who are passionate about their craft and community, just thrive in a team-based setting.
Love that. How do you think you've grown or changed since joining Hustle and Heart Salon?
If you've been following my journey since I moved to Duluth, you've probably watched me completely transform, not just as a stylist, but as a person, my life, my mindset, my business. It's all evolved in such a powerful way. I've learned so much, including mastering an incredible hand-tied extensions from none other than Jessica.
Oh, stop it. Yes, that's awesome. I can vouch for that. You are not the same person today that you were when you first joined me. Hailey, when she came in, she was this little blonde with glasses and high-waisted pants and probably a tee from like a national park. Yeah. She was so cute and timid, a little more timid, goofy, a little quirky, but more timid. And she's just blossomed into this incredible young woman. I'm so proud. All right. So I love all of that. So now that everyone knows your vibe, let's dive in. You're up first. What's something you wish more salon owners understood?
Let's just start with the truth. Doing your boss's hair is terrifying. And I'm not saying that lightly. It doesn't matter how confident I am with my skills, how many heads of hair I've colored, cut, added luxury hair extensions to, or transformed. When it's your boss sitting in your chair, the pressure hits different. There's this unspoken intensity that comes with it, like suddenly your career and self-worth are both hanging in the balance with every foil, cut, and extension blend. I felt it at both salons I've worked at, and I know I'm not alone. It's not just about the technical part, it's about the dynamic. You want them to love it. You want to impress them. You want to read their facial expressions while actually totally calm and professional. You're second guessing every formula, every placement, and God forbid they say, let's try something new today. It becomes this mental gymnastics routine where you're trying to be chill, but also dying inside. There's also this extra layer of weird energy because if something goes wrong, which let's be real, it can happen, the stakes feel so much higher. You're not just correcting a tone or adding more hair extensions, you're correcting it on the person who runs the business, leads your team, and possibly sets the tone for your entire work environment. That pressure can make it hard to breathe, let alone perform to your highest ability. But here's the other side of it. It can also be a huge trust builder. When a salon owner sits in your chair, they're putting their look, something that directly reflects their brand, in your hands. That means something. It's scary, yes, but it's also a compliment. It shows your belief in your skills, your taste, and your vision. Still, it doesn't take away the sweat dripping, heart racing moment of actually doing the damn thing. So salon owners, if you're listening, please know that when we're doing your hair, we're not just trying to give you a flawless balayage or a seamless blended hair extensions. We're trying to meet a very unspoken, very intense expectation while also keeping our cool. We respect the hell out of you, and we want you to feel amazing when you walk out of the chair. Just maybe give us a little grace when we seem extra nervous. It's not just you, it's the boss effect.
The boss effect.
Well, it has almost been 2 years since I've been doing your hair, Jess. What do you have to say about that?
I did not think that was going to be one of the things. I'm thinking it's going to be some deep, and it's getting my hair done. Okay, I totally can understand that. I can see that from your point of view, and I get it. I'm sure it is really scary. And it's funny because I don't even think that because I'm obviously, it's just me. But I will say, salon owners out there, if you're having your stylist do your hair, you better buy them lunch. Buy them a coffee. Give them a little extra love because, that's a legit thing that I've never even thought of.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a day with Hailey. She's doing my hair. It's no big deal. That is funny. All right. It's my turn. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. This is something that I wish, mine's a little deeper. This is something that I wish stylists understood, and that is your salon owner is not keeping all your money. This is one I hear from salon owners all the time, and honestly, they're tired of it. It's one of the most common frustrations I hear in this industry, that stylists think that the salon is keeping their whole paycheck, that if they're on commission, the rest must be going straight into the owner's pocket. But I wish more stylists understood that's just not how it works. The money goes toward keeping the business running, rent, insurance, education, assistance, booking software, marketing, back bar, towels, color, tools, cleaning, taxes. The list is endless. And most stylists don't realize how expensive it really is to create and maintain the space you get to work in every day. So I'm not saying this to guilt anyone. I'm saying it to bring clarity because every time color is overmixed or a product is wasted or a stylist is taking 15 pumps of shampoo or conditioner, that is wasted. That is money bleeding out of our business. And I know I'm not the only salon owner who's felt this way. I talk to salon owners all the time who are working so hard just to break even and still hearing whispers like, she's keeping all my money. Most stylists don't realize that the national average profit for salons is somewhere between 2 and 10%. And that 10%, that's a typical highest. And only if your salon owner is doing everything right. That means your margins are tight, your systems are efficient, your waste is low, and you're running things smart just to get to the 10%. And also, can we normalize that, yes, a salon owner should profit? The goal of owning a salon isn't to hustle endlessly behind the chair forever, it's to build something sustainable. As the salon grows, the owner should be working less behind the chair, and they should be compensated fairly for the risk, the responsibility, and the leadership they bring to the business. This mindset that salon owners shouldn't make money off the salon they built while carrying the highest level of risk, it's just wild to me. No one questions if a boutique owner earns profit from their shop. So why is it different in this industry? Hailey, is that surprising to you? Like hearing the national average, 2 to 10%. So like when there's a commission split, like a 40-60, let's just say the salon keeps 60% of what the stylist brings in, the stylist takes home 40%. The salon only profits 2 to 10% of that. So I feel like this is one of those things that isn't really talked about, but it changes the whole perspective, I feel like, when you hear that national average out loud. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's good to like hear that because I have worked in, again, 2 commission-based salons,
Mhm.
and I am grateful to even have my boss do all of AKA the hard stuff
Mhm.
as being a hairstylist, like the ordering the products, having things stocked, back bar, like the whole shebang. And I think for me, I'm just grateful to have someone do it for me and then just work hard for them, you know?
Yeah, we want just to duplicate Hailey. Let's just like make a million of you for hairstylists. Cause yeah, you are super appreciative. This is like I
Mhm.
said, these conversations, these aren't directed at Hailey. This is just
Yeah.
a common thing as a salon owner you hear. And you hear
Yeah.
little whispers of it and you see it all over social media. Like if you work for a salon that you only get XYZ amount commission, that's a red flag. And I'm like, but do you know their margins? Like,
Right.
do you know what the overhead cost is? Because if someone's in a space and their overhead cost is like massive rent, like that commission is going to be substantially lower. So I think it's just I like to lead from transparency with you guys. Like I like to show you the numbers. So we are a very
Yes.
numbers driven salon where I'm like, listen, you want a new product line, we can't bring that in
Mm.
unless you start selling the stuff we got. Like
Yes.
very transparent. I like to show the numbers. So
Yeah.
cool. All right, you're up.
Okay.
Pause for a second because not all hair salons are created equal. At Hustle and Heart, we're all about clean beauty, no harsh chemicals, no toxic color, just intentional products, sustainable practices, and hair that actually feels like you. Whether it's extensions, color, or real solutions for hair loss, it's never just an appointment here. It's an experience. Come feel the difference at Hustle and Heart Salon, where your beauty routine gets the upgrade it deserves. Learn more at hustleandheartsalon.com.
All right. One of the biggest things I've learned in this industry is that when stylists feel like collaborators, not just employees, it changes everything. When you, as the salon owner, take time to include us in the conversations about the direction of the salon, upcoming changes, or even ask for our honest feedback, it builds a level of trust that's hard to fake. It tells us that you value more than not just It tells us that you value more than just our technical skills. You value our voices, our ideas, and our perspectives. It may seem small, but being asked, "What do you think?" or "How does this feel to you?" carries so much weight. It's not just about having the final say or wanting to run the show, it's about feeling like we're a part of it. When we're looped in, we're more invested. We care more, we work harder, we show up with more pride because we feel like we're helping build something, not just clocking in and out. Feeling like we have a say in salon culture, policies, or even events gives us the vibe like we matter. When we're allowed to bring our creativity and insight to the table, we feel more connected, not just to our work, but to the whole team. It creates a culture of respect and unity where we all feel responsible for the vibe and the success of the salon. And that's where the magic really happens. On the flip side, when changes are made without our input, or when we feel like decisions come out of nowhere, it can feel really disorientating. It makes us feel like we're on the outside of something we spend every day helping grow. And when that happens, it can unintentionally lead to resentment or disengagement. Even if the change itself is a good one, inclusion doesn't just help morale, it strengthens the entire foundation of the salon. So, from a stylist to a salon owner, include us, invite us into the process, trust that when we have insight, that matters. We don't expect to make all the decisions, but when you let us in, even just a little, it shifts the entire energy of the space. We stop feeling like an employee just doing our job, and we start feeling like collaborators creating something powerful together. Now, Jess, I know I specifically have a huge leadership role at Hustle and Heart, but I can't help but relate to this topic because you heard me, you understood my goals and visions for the salon's future, and look where we are today.
It's so true. That's a really great point because I can see both sides. I have done it where I've been like head to the ground doing the things, and I'm like, guys, just come along with me, just follow me. Not come next to me. Don't.
Yes.
It's like it's very easy to get into that mindset when you own something and you're going through education. Well, you should be. If you own a salon, you really should be continuing your own education within leadership and business ideas, not just like because at that point you're kind of going away from behind the chair
Mhm.
typically. So your education should be focused on leadership. And it can be really hard when you go to like a new education and you have a new idea that springs up and you're like, I get back, I'm going to like hit the ground running. I've done that. And a lot of times, yeah, it can work out, but it does go more smoothly when there's a conversation. So what I've been doing, I feel like has been helpful is having a meeting, like scheduling a meeting or an education when I get back to kind of talk about like what I learned, what I want to implement in the salon, and why I want to implement it into the salon. When you forget that piece of why, your stylists are going to be like, why are we doing this? This is stupid. This is extra. We just started a new thing in the salon. And at first, I didn't really give the why. And during quarterly evals, I got the like, why are we doing this? I feel like we're going to get burned out on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't explain why we're doing morning huddles. So in every eval, I had like this whole conversation of why we're starting to do this. So that's a really good point. Salon owners, definitely bring your stylist alongside you, bring them into it. And there's going to be times where you're making an investment because it's something that they want to try and it may not work out. And you can't look at it as a failure or like wasted money because you're still investing in their confidence. So, all right, cool.
Love it.
Love that one. All right, my second point is I wish you knew your dream schedule and full books won't build themselves, and I can't want it more than you do. So, I wish more stylists truly understood this. I want you to win. We want to see you fully booked, financially thriving, working with dream clients, and feeling proud of the work you're doing. But I've learned, sometimes the hard way, that I can't want it more for stylists than they want it for themselves. And I know I'm not the only owner who has felt this. I've had conversations with so many others who are pouring their energy and building up stylists only to feel like they're doing all the heavy lifting. There's this expectation I've seen pop up that if you're in a commission salon, your success should just happen. That the salon should fill your books, market your work, retain your guests, and build your brand. And yes, part of my job is to create that foundation, and I do. I've created systems, scripts, education, marketing, support, visibility, and structure. But if stylists aren't actually using those tools, if they're not posting, not rebooking, not following up, not asking for reviews or referrals, they're not holding up their end of the partnership. You can't say you want full books and then ghost your client for 2 weeks. You can't say you want growth, but avoid every uncomfortable moment that actually creates it. I wish more stylists understood your growth isn't something the salon does for you, it's something we do with you. You want to build a dream business behind the chair? Amazing. But that requires radical responsibility. We can create the space, we can provide the structure, and we can offer the support. But we can't show up for you. That part, that's yours to own. We can cheer you on, mentor you, and pour into you, and we will because we believe in you, but we can't carry your dream for you. We can't keep pouring when the glass isn't being picked up. Your dream schedule, your booked out calendar, that version of your life you're visualizing, it's totally possible, but it won't build itself. And I wish more stylists knew it's theirs to build. So I've heard stylists say they think that the salon that they work for should do 70, 80, or even up to 100% of the work to fill their books. And that number feels radically and ridiculously high to me. I do think the salon has responsibility to support guest flow, of course, and create opportunity, but there has to be shared effort. So, Hailey, I'm curious, what do you think is a fair balance? How much of the responsibility for building a stylist book do you feel should come from the salon, and how much should come from the stylist?
Okay, I love that you related it to as if it's a partnership because I genuinely feel like that's what it is. Like, for instance, at Hustle and Heart, we have our main Hustle and Heart Salon Instagram page, but then every other girl at the salon, we all have our own personal pages. But I love that we have it where our usernames still say Hustle and Heart Salon. So, like, when you type it in, all of us pop up. So I don't know about the stats specifically, but feel like it should not be 50-50, but like 60-40
Mhm.
because 60-40 or 30-70, because I think we should still be doing majority of the work.
Mhm.
I think specifically with social media, especially like for me, relocating to Duluth, rebuilding my clientele, it's been almost 3 years this fall since I've been doing that, and I would say it took a good year of grinding before I
Right.
was like, "Okay, I feel like I've got a good groove, I got a good rhythm, I'm making a name for myself here," while still having the salon help promote me because that's what it's there for, but I also have to put in the work. Like, my
Right.
posts that are on the salon page, I write, I create, and I send them in, and then they get posted,
Yep.
and if I'm not doing that work, it's not gonna get shared
Right.
and you have to do the work.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so in I love all of that. I really believe that the salon is responsible for like 30 to 40% of
Yeah.
bookings. You know, like when you have a salon, you don't have just one stylist you're pouring into. You have a whole team of stylists. So filling 10 stylist books 100% is just so not even practical. And not only that, but the goal as a stylist is to really have the kind of clientele you want, not just any random clientele. You want to really like speak to the clients you want in your chair. And the only way you can do that is by like promoting yourself and marketing yourself and your personality and what you like to do. So it's like, yeah, we have our salon Instagram, which is great. It's a great place to fall back on for stylists just to see what is the salon putting out there? Who works there? That's fantastic, but our goal at Hustle and Heart Salon is to direct those clients always to the stylist social media page. Because number one, yes, we want like I said, we want to direct people, but you want to create your own brand as a stylist. Like I don't want my thumb on a stylist. Like you have to post like this and show up like this. Like I want each stylist to show up authentically themselves on social media to attract their dream clients because your dream clients are not my dream clients, right?
Mhm.
And it's the same throughout the entire salon. So just making sure that everyone has like that freedom to be authentically themselves, attract their own dream clients, and then I just feel like you're taking on that responsibility and you get to take that anywhere you go. So if you were to ever leave Hustle and Heart Salon, you've already created that foundation. So that is kind of the way that we work at Hustle and Heart Salon. But yeah, I feel like I've had stylists in the past that are like, you're not building my books fast enough. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was my job to build your books 100%. Like,
Mhm.
really, I think it's like a 30, maybe up to 40%
Right.
salon's responsibility to fill the stylist books. And there's things we do like marketing on Google and all of that, but there's only so much we can do. Like if you're invisible, if people don't know you exist, they're not going to come sit in your chair.
Definitely.
So you have to be visible. Put yourself out there, market for yourself. So,
Yes.
all right, I think you're up.
Yes. As stylists, we genuinely love what we do. This industry fills us up in ways that are hard to explain. There's nothing like making someone feel beautiful, confident, and cared for. We thrive on creativity, the connection, and the relationships we build with our clients and our team. But even with all of that passion, we're still human beings outside of the salon. We're not just stylists, we're partners, parents, friends, dog moms, and people with full lives beyond the chair. Sometimes it feels like that gets overlooked. There's this expectation in the beauty industry to grind constantly, to always say yes, to take the extra client, to respond to messages late at night, to respond to work texts instantly, or skip the break and work the extra day. And because we care so much, we do it. Like until we're completely burnt out. We don't want to reach that point. We want to be proactive about creating careers that are sustainable, where we can thrive at work and at home. Having healthy boundaries isn't about being difficult or ungrateful. It's about protecting the passion we have for this work. When we block time off for ourselves, say no to squeezing someone in, or take the full weekend off, it's not because we don't care. It's because we want to keep caring for years. We want long, fulfilling careers that don't require us to constantly sacrifice our well-being. What we hope you see is that setting boundaries doesn't mean we care any less. In fact, it usually means we're more committed to doing our best work, staying mentally and physically healthy, and showing up as our most present and creative selves. When our boundaries are respected, we feel more valued, and that energy pours right back into the salon in the form of better client experiences, stronger team dynamics, and overall longevity in this career. So, from a stylist to an owner, please honor our boundaries the same way we honor your vision. Trust that we're in this for the long haul, and we're part of part of that means learning to protect our energy, our time, and our personal lives. When we're supported in that, it doesn't just benefit us, it benefits the entire salon.
I love that.
Yeah.
And as a salon owner, it can be so hard because when you own something, like it is your, I hate to use the word baby because that just doesn't feel right. But at the same time, like it's your blood, sweat, and tears. Like it is it's your everything. So sometimes you have to remember that the people who are working for you, they love the job. They love the hustle. They love all that. But it's not the same, right?
Mhm.
Like they want to have that disconnect where they can recharge. And I love that. And it's so, so important. I have learned so much from younger stylists that I brought in. Like you hear that whole like, I think they say like, is it Gen Z? They're saying Gen Z doesn't want to work. Like they're lazy. I'm like, no, they're not. They've got
No,
boundaries.
I'm a Gen Z and I will say I'm
Yeah,
one of the hardest
yes.
working
You're
people
like,
I
I will
know.
fight that. Yeah. And I'm like, when I hear that, I'm like, that's not true. Like, yes, it's just they're not afraid to speak up. The
Mhm.
generation I grew up in, you're like, yes, ma'am. And you just
Yeah.
did it. You worked yourself into the ground. You burned yourself out.
Yes.
And those are hard things to like, when that's been like what you grew up in. Right.
Mhm.
So it's like these, don't want to say older because I'm not old, but my generation, we were built different.
Mhm.
Right. And not better,
Right.
not worse, just different. But I've learned a lot from my younger stylists that have taught me, like, yeah, boundaries are good. Like, if I say, hey, can you do this? And you say no to me, I'm like, wait, why? Why no? Like, why would you not want to do this? And I'm like, oh, that's right. They do have lives outside of here. So, yeah, that's a really good point to make. And that is something that I feel like us salon owners really need to like remember is it's when you guys leave the salon, you're not always thinking about it like we are. So
Yes.
it's okay to have that disconnect. And it's good to have systems in place. Like we have a system we use like a communication app that I tell my stylist, like, hey, when I'm thinking of something, I'm going to send it to you right away. But that doesn't mean you have to check it on your day off. Like,
Mhm.
don't. Like, figure out what your hours are of checking it. Obviously, don't leave me unread for a week. But making sure that there are some systems in place. Like, don't be texting your stylists like on their personal phone unless it's like a personal thing. Like, hey, do you want to go for coffee? Like as friends, like that's
Yes.
different. But if it's
Mhm.
work related, make sure that you have a system in place, an app that you use to communicate with your stylist, so there is a boundary there, and then the stylist has the opportunity to check it when they're working and not on a weekend. So,
I also want to say, I think for stylists who do have beauty pages,
mhm.
it is nice to pour so much into that, but having a different platform to like get like a different page to like I have two Instagram pages and I can know on the weekends when I'm done working, I will go on my personal page and I can still
Mhm.
do all the Instagrammy things without feeling like I have to be held to a different standard because I'm on my business page,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yes,
So
that's
it's a
such a good
good
point. Yeah.
disconnect that way,
Well,
but
yeah, you can still consume without having to consume hair.
yes,
It's like you're able to look at
or
other
clients
interests in
and
life. Yeah. And one thing too is it's like what I tell you girls is be a content creator, not consumer. You consume
yes.
too much, then you do start to like, and then you'll get a message that pops in. So it's good to have a separate page
Mhm.
because if a client messages you on Instagram, you feel instantly like you have to message right away because there is like there's like a rule they say that you should respond back to your client. This is like what the gurus say. I think within 48 hours or something like that. Well, if it's a Friday night and your client messages you on Instagram, I don't feel like we should have to respond back on our weekend. So keeping it unread is what you need to do until you're ready to respond. But yeah, I love that idea about kind of separating and having like a platform that you can go on, a separate Instagram to like kind of fuel the other parts of your life, not just hair.
Yes.
That's cool. All right. So this is the last one. That was round 3. You did that. That was awesome. Now it's my turn. So this is my third point, and this is the final point of today's podcast. And that is, I wish you knew this isn't just a business, it's my heartbeat. This one feels really personal. I wish more stylists knew this isn't just a business to us. It's our purpose, our heartbeat. This is a reason we choose. There is a reason we chose to open a salon, and it usually comes from a place of deep passion and a desire to create something better for stylists. A place where you feel supported, seen, empowered, where the culture is different, the opportunities are greater, and the experience is elevated. That's what drove me. And it's what drives so many salon owners I know. We truly care about you. We lose sleep over situations. We carry the weight of wanting every stylist to be successful, whatever your version of success looks like. We think about how to support you, how to cheer you on, how to create an environment where you can thrive. And the headspace it takes up, I can't even fully explain it. Because of that, when a stylist leaves, it's not just a transaction, it's emotional. And it's not about expecting people to stay forever, although we do wish you would. It's not about control, it's about care. What hurts is when the exit feels blindsiding, when there was no communication, when we find out about frustrations or plans to leave only after the decision's already been made. That's what stings, not the leaving, the silence. And I'll be the first to say, my ego has flared in those moments. It's not something I'm proud of, but I know I'm not alone in that, because when you've poured into someone, mentored them, believed in them, bent to make space for them, and they leave without a conversation, it doesn't feel like a resignation. It feels like a breakup. But I've also had the other kind of experience. Back in December, a stylist came to me ready to leave. I had no idea she was even struggling. She was going through some heavy things personally, and I could tell she just wanted to make a big change to feel something different. And honestly, I get that. But she came to me. She was honest, and we talked, like had a real conversation. We unpacked what she was feeling and why. We couldn't fix every single thing because as a salon owner, I still have to stay aligned with what's best for business. But we addressed enough. We created space for clarity, and she's still with me today. That's what I wish more stylists understood. We want to listen. We want to support you, but we can't fix what we don't know about. We can't hold space for something you never shared. And I know not every stylist has a salon owner who listens. I get that too. Sometimes you do communicate and you're ignored. Sometimes the environment really isn't just for you. And in those cases, it makes sense to part ways. That's a part of growth. That's real. But a conversation is still owed. Because good salon owners want to do better. We want to learn. We want to grow. Every time a stylist leaves Hustle and Heart, I send out an exit interview. And I'll be honest, sometimes it stings, but I read every word and I ask myself how I can do better next time. We don't expect blind loyalty, but we do hope for mutual respect, because loyalty goes both ways. It's not a one-way street. This isn't just a business to us, it's our heartbeat, and I wish stylists knew just how much we cared. So how do you feel about that?
So for me personally, long story short, I found Jess on Instagram years before I moved up here, and I loved everything about it. I was like, she runs a great business. I would love to work for her someday. And now we're coming up on 3 years of me working with you, and it hasn't always been rainbows and butterflies.
Oh, God, no.
There's been times where I'm frustrated, you're frustrated, someone else is frustrated, but we have those conversations.
Yes.
We have honest heart-to-heart conversations. You hear me, I hear you, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be scared of that confrontation. And I think that, like, I know we talk a lot about ego and like personal growth and everything. And I think when your ego flares and emotions get heated, like it doesn't always benefit you.
No.
But what will benefit you is having that honest conversation and just being open with each other
Yeah.
and being okay to hear something you don't want to hear.
So your message to stylist is have the conversation.
Yes.
Have the hard conversation because we
Yes.
don't know. Like we don't know what you don't tell us, especially when we have a big team. There's so many personalities and things going on. And if you don't come to us and say, hey, I'm having issues with X, Y, or Z, like we can't do anything about it. We can't fix something we don't know about. And sometimes we can't fix it. Sometimes it could just be like, hey, this isn't the right fit. And maybe it is best if you move on. And that is what's hard too as a salon owner is sometimes it's just not the right fit. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, and you just have to kind of hold it with an open hand and just know what's meant to be will be. And what's right for you is what's right for you. So just trusting that. I don't know. I think this was a really good conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I feel like for the points that you had, it's very heavy on the salon ownership side. And I think I've never owned a business because I know that's not who I am. I know I'm meant to lead alongside someone.
Right.
I know I don't want to be by myself. Like I love the team we have at Hustle and Heart. And I think hearing what you have to say, it's things that we've talked about before. But I think for me, it's easy like to see it from a stylist perspective versus like putting myself in your shoes and being
Right.
like, oh yeah, that's right. Like I care a lot about the salon, but it is like your heartbeat. Like you said, it is your baby.
Yeah.
And it's, I think not that it doesn't matter for me too, because again, I care so much as well, but just seeing it like, the things that you have to say like really do matter, you know?
Yeah. Right. So I just think it's important for salon owners and stylists, have open dialogue, have conversations, have the hard conversations. Like that is what will drive your business into the ground is if you're too scared to have confrontational conversations with your stylists, obviously have it out of mutual respect though. Don't come at them with like this ego because I've done it. I'm not perfect. I think every salon owner can say their ego has gotten the best of them. And when that happens, that's when it blows up in your face. It's just not worth it. So, yes. So, okay. Wow. That was such a good conversation. Hailey, thank you for being so open and honest. I know it can feel a little vulnerable sharing from both sides, but I really believe this is how we grow by having the conversations that usually only happen behind closed doors. Whether you're a stylist or a salon owner listening, I hope something in this episode made you feel seen or understood. We're all just trying to do our best, build something meaningful, show up for our people, and feel proud of the work we're doing. And if nothing else, let this be a reminder: communication, respect, mutual effort go a long way because we're in this together. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your time is valuable, and I'm honored you spent it here. I hope something in this conversation met you right where you are. If it stirred something in your spirit or spoke to your heart, I'd truly love to hear about it. My DMs are always open. I love connecting with you. And as you go, just remember, you're not walking through this life alone. Until next time, stay grounded, keep showing up, and keep leaning into the purpose that's been placed on your heart. I'll be right here, cheering you on with my whole heart.